Peace, peace. We live, we live, and just want to say to all my RBG Nation, uh, peace and love. And this is going to be a good discussion, by the way, because I'm interested. And basically, the topic really is about how to build what makes a perfect black government without the interference of European ideology. So anybody, somebody got to mute their stuff because I'm hearing feedback.
Okay, you're hearing feedback, bro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Yes, sir. What I want to look at today would be I'm trying to figure out once we move forward to this new reality, when it comes to black nationhood, which approach is going to be more beneficial to black people? This is like the main question. So I just want to ask this question and just try to figure out, like, when it comes to certain issues, as far as like with homosexuality, interracial relationships, should these people be allowed in the new reality? Now, the flag that I have stands, it's it's a red, black, and green RBG flag. It stands for Pan-Africanism. Now, when we look at homosexuality, homosexuality is not anything that, see, what I look at, what I really, what I stand for and what I support is anything that benefits black people. So therefore, we have to look at these certain issues: homosexuality, interracial relationships. Do these things benefit black people? Do we need the support of homosexuals in the black movement, moving towards and for a new reality for black people? Do we need the support of people who are married to the enemy? I am 1000% against interracial relationships. But I'm wondering, if we look at brothers like Shannon Sharp, now he gets up on white media and he speaks very good on black issues for black people, but at the end of the day, every single night, he goes and lays down with the beast, with the white woman, with the devil. So I have to look at it like this. I guess the question that I am trying to pose is, do we need support from Negroes like Shannon Sharp? Do we need support from the James Baldwins of the movement? The people who are homosexual but claim to stand for the embetterment of black people. Now, although we already know there is no way, shape, or form that I could ever say that homosexuality would ever benefit black people. But when I really look at the history of black people in North America, I have to also pay attention to racism, white supremacy, because if we look at all of the cases, if we look at Emmett Till, if we look at the numerous amount of white people who have gotten away with cold-blooded murder against our people, was homosexuality really a factor. So what I'm saying, yes, indeed, we have to deal with, the moral aspects of our people. We have to get our people, polished and up, to a point to where everything that we do, we benefit ourselves. But when we really look at it, when we look at, racism, white supremacy, if we look at the Ku Klux Klan, if we look at the neo-Nazi skinhead groups, if we look at, all of, these, racist laws, like the Fugitive Slave Act, if we look at all of these racist laws that were set in place, to subjugate our people, do we need the support of, brothers? And I will loosely use this term because it's very difficult for me to look at, someone as being a brother when you when you go home every single night and lay with the enemy. So I guess the question that I'm trying to pose today is, do we need the support of the Shannon Sharps and the James Baldwins of the Black community? Now, I see my good brother Guy Nollywood and my good brother Talik Ibn Ra have their microphones muted. I'm not sure, if these brothers are available to speak right now. But
we good.
Bro, this goes to you since you're the first to respond. Do we need to support the Shannon Sharps and the Negroes, the homosexual Negroes who claim to stand for their people and are willing to fight and give their lives to fight against white supremacy?
Okay. Just like when white people use us to get votes, we can use them too as well. However, we have to be conscious and have to be aware of their agenda. And we have to make it perfectly clear it's about a political movement. We have to make our stands very clear without offending anyone. We can do that. White people do it. So what I'm saying is this: we don't have to be blunt and say no homosexual. Now, once we get into power, yes, we can make it perfectly clear. Because as soon as they feel that they have a voice, that's when the agenda start coming out. That's when they're gonna start talking about the homosexuality and we need rights for that and all this other stuff. And we have to make that perfectly. We have to stop them right there and then. That's why the Black Lives Matter is pretty much a no good organization, because homosexuality is a homosexual movement now. It went from power to the people to gay rights. Same thing with the civil rights. That became a white organization now, white women's organization. You got more white women got more rights from the civil rights movement and homosexuals than black people who put their life on the line. Because black people never said, no, that civil rights is not for you. Well, we became more like, we became more what you say, acceptance. We became, what's the word I'm looking for? Another word, acceptance.
Validation?
Huh?
Validation?
Accommodating?
Yes. That's the word, accommodating. We became more accommodating, where we had, in order to feel accepted, we wanted to unite everybody. And and our people, our mothers and fathers have shed blood. And Dr. King did not fight for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we cannot make that mistake what our ancestors did in the past. So we have to make that perfectly clear. So we can use people, but we have to let some people know that if you have an agenda, you got to take that shit somewhere else. We're not fighting for your agendas. So we have to make that clear. And if people don't like it, then they can go somewhere else. But I'm gonna give the floor to my two brothers, and I want to see what they got to say. So either one of y'all can, start it off if y'all like.
Okay, but first of all, brother Maurice, do you have the links that I provided?
Yes, sir. I just shared it.
Definitely. Okay. The top link is the one that to watch the video, and then we have the link for, I think, Sister Carol. She just called me on Google Hangouts. She wants to join the panel.
Oh, she was. Oh, okay, yeah, excellent.
The bottom link, if you could forward that to her on Facebook.
Okay, well, yeah, then I sent her the wrong link then.
Yeah, the top link is the one to you sent her a link to one of our old discussions because that's how she was able to call me. That bottom link I just posted, that's the link to join the panel. The top link is the link to view the video. So let's give Brother Maurice a second to share the video, and hopefully we'll get Sister Carol on the panel, because I'm sure she has a lot that she would like to say. I'm sure she has a lot of wisdom and an opinion to bring to this type of discussion, because this is something real serious. Like, when we look at this, like, Brother Guy, what do you think? I mean, when I spoke about Shannon Sharpe, let's just talk about him while my good brother, Maurice, is trying to, get the system.
I don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, he's not lying when it comes down to what we went through as a people. But like I said, I'm just worrying about the agendas that people do. If a person is black and they are homosexual, they can be for the controlling of a government. But once they start talking about their lifestyle or their sexual orientation, then we have to make that perfectly clear. It's not about their sexual orientation. You see what I'm saying? We have to make that perfectly clear, because once we allow or once we compromise, and that's the word I was really looking for, then everything will be it's not going to be about African people. It will just be about homosexuals, and then that government be catered to homosexuals or catered to integrationists, and it'll turn to something totally different. So we have to make that perfectly clear what the movement stands for. If we're going to talk about liberation, we have to make a stance. Just like every other people who have an agenda make, like the gay rights, they made a stance. It wasn't for straight people. It was for them. So if we're going to make it about us and straight people and straight black people, and we're going to we're going to talk about nation building, because homosexuals don't believe in nation building. They anti-nation.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? If we're going to talk about black liberation or African liberation, because black means African, then you cannot have interracial relations.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying is that we can have their support, but we cannot allow them to put their agenda along with our movement. That's all I'm saying. And we have to make that perfectly clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here's my question. Okay, before we hand the microphone off to Brother Maurice, let me correct myself. I'm wondering, is Brother Tyleek still busy? Because the question that I have is, I wonder if it needs to be pushed to the forefront. Do you think homosexuality? Okay, I guess I can begin with this question. Homosexuality versus white supremacy. Which one is more of a detriment to our people?
They're both, actually. because the thing is, I mean, because I gotta let these guys talk, because I'm definitely curious of what they have to say. See, Craig, you're missing the whole thing. It's not physical. And just like I was telling when I did a video about Elquan, it's not physical. It's biological. We are different types of warfare now. It's not a physical warfare. It's not worried, but I'm not worrying about getting shot by a racist cop, or getting beat over the head by a white supremacist. I'm worrying about, hell, if they're gonna put poison in the water, like what they doing in Flint, Michigan. That's what I'm scared of more than anything. So you're talking about biological, you're talking about spiritual, psychological. White supremacy comes in all shapes and sizes. So I want to just go in and let these brothers speak. And we can start with Maurice. Maurice, yes, what is your thoughts of having or starting a perfect African nation or African government or black government? What is your idea? Or do you agree with what I just said about preventing? We can have the support of black people that are into integration relations or interracial relationships and homosexuality. We can have their support, but not allow their agenda to interfere of our movement. I just want to hear your thoughts, bro.
Yes, sir. And thank you, brothers, for having your brother on. It's always a pleasure to be able to come on amongst family and have good, honest, and open conversation. And knowing where we're coming from to where we're trying to go, I want to go ahead and just get a few things straight as I'm answering the questions that are set forth. Now, we know that, and I've said this before, we've all been taught properly. And this period of our time that we're at, it's all about the implementation of what we were taught. Nowhere in what we were taught does it speak about fear. Nowhere. Hold on. Nowhere. Excuse me, let me turn this off real quick. Okay. So nowhere does it talk about that we were taught fear as far as how we should be from our own. You can look at the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can look at Marcus Garvey. You can look at Claude Anderson. You can look at any of our scholars. And nowhere in there did they teach us to be afraid. And that's the first thing. The second thing is that they taught us to have a love for our people and to always plan on what is best for our people. Now, before the civil rights movement came, it was called a freedom movement. And how it got to be civil rights is some members of the group said, white people keep saying they don't understand what we mean when we say freedom. When we're talking about a freedom movement, they get lost in the words. So they said, okay, we're going to change it to civil rights movement. So that way there's no getting lost in the message. But with the new name, with the new title, came new direction, came a weakness, because the desire to let people understand where you're coming from when they're not with you in the first place? This is very critical that you have to understand, because lives have already been taken because of going left when we should be going right. So they changed it to civil rights. And if you go read Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail, he says that his greatest problem is not with the Ku Klux Klaner. It's not these people. His greatest problem is with the white liberal, because the white liberal will only fight with you to a point to establish a negative peace. And a negative peace will never bring freedom, justice, nor equality. You will never get those things out of a negative peace. We have been in a negative peace since they've changed from freedom movement to civil rights. And we've been stuck in this negative peace. You know you're in a negative peace when your quote unquote friends and quote unquote allies say, we need to have a conversation. You heard that in Clinton and all these Democratic people. They said, we need to have a conversation. That's your negative peace again. Now, Rand Paul, who is a Republican, he came to Chicago and he went in the hood. And Rand Paul said to our people, I like Malcolm X. He didn't beg anybody to give him justice. He took justice. And if you want to be free, you look at Malcolm X. Now, he didn't say that where our well-to-do black people are. He went to the heart of the suffering and the pain of our people. And he spoke to us and he said it very clearly. No other man can give you justice. Justice is something that you take for yourself. He didn't say, let's have a conversation. He didn't say that. He said, you want it, then you take it. And I vibrate with that message because I believe in that message. That's the right message. See, we as black people, we like to compromise too much. We want to compromise too much. The homosexual agenda, they don't compromise with us. They don't compromise with us. They don't ask you, is this policy of making you not able to put on your children's birth record or even to tell your children that they are a boy or a girl? They're not asking you for your permission. They're not looking for your blessing. When they go into the school and tear down boy and girl bathroom and say, you go to whatever one you feel. Did you as a parent get asked, is this okay? Is this right? Or did they just mow it down your throat and didn't even give you the opportunity to weigh in on the decisions? They just made the decisions. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it but go along with the decision. But we want to compromise with people that don't compromise with us. See, I believe in what I teach because I live what I teach. People who listen to me, they hear the sincerity in my voice. When I go amongst our people, they see and feel the sincerity from their brother. Now, if I all of a sudden change and say, it's okay, we're going to accept homosexuals. When the question is asked, if they hear me say that, what do you think they're going to think about me? What do you think they would do or would want to do to me? Because I have taught them, you don't compromise for what's right to do what's wrong. We don't compromise. To accept homosexuality for me would be treason. And that would make me worthy of death. This is what I teach our people. And I have said to them, if I turn on you, it is your responsibility to take my life. Because leadership is not a game. Your life is on the line when you say you want to lead our people. Because our people have suffered from liars too often. Now, when Barack Obama was running for president the first time, here in Tennessee, his campaign reached out to me because I have a track record of beating white people and the government in Tennessee. I have a track record of doing that. So they reached out to me and said, we want you to be a part of this campaign. We want you to lead the campaign in Tennessee. Now, when I got the message, I was happy. I ain't gonna lie, I was very happy. My children were happy because they seeing dad in these conference calls on the webcam with people from Barack Obama's campaign. And we're nailing out my responsibilities and what I'm supposed to do. And one day a brother come to me, Brother Roberto, and I told him what I was doing. And children so happy, I'm happy. And he looked at me and he said, brother, why would you lead your people in a way that you don't believe? He said, I can't go with you with this. And I know you. And I know this is not what you believe will free our people. So why would you lead them there? I was convicted. You hear me? I was convicted because my brother loved me enough to tell me the truth, to save me. Because I would have been out there gathering our people to vote for this man, speaking on behalf of this man. You'd have saw me with pictures smiling with this man. And then come around 8 years later and he ain't did a damn thing for us. And our people would look at me and say, ain't you the same nigga that told us to vote for Barack Obama and he would bring us change? So I'm glad I had good counsel I'm glad my brother gave me good counsel, because I went to them and I said, I can't do this. I'm walking away. I'm sorry, I can't do it. They offered me more money. They offered me more FaceTime with Obama. And I told them, no, it ain't because of any of that. But I've worked for years to have good character. And I want my people to be able to follow me. If I ever gave the call and said, let's go this way, I want them to be able to look at me and say, that's a brother that I can trust because I know he loves me. So I told them I'm not going to do it. And I thank him for giving me good counsel. So when we talk about the Mississippi campaign and the split came, and I was told about the video Brother Talek did, and I watched the video, the whole thing. I did not get on YouTube and make a video calling Brother Talek's name out or Brother Eric's name out or anybody that, go in that way. That's not my way. When I was a younger man and, Brother Talek would say something about Minister Farrakhan, and I would jump on my YouTube and I would fire back. And I will continue to fire, and we fight. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't do anything for our people, really. Some people got an emotional charge out of it to see two black men going head to head while the enemy sit back and laugh and say, look at these dumb niggas. I got them real wound up. As a more mature man that sees things a little bit differently, I have Brother Talek's phone number, and he can bear witness that I picked up the phone and I called him, brother to brother, and I discussed with my brother what the difference was. And I explained to my brother that I believe in what I say. And the people that listen believe it. There's no way in hell that I can go and accept homosexuals or go and say or be a part of a group that we're talking about a new reality, but I'm bringing white folk, I'm bringing homosexuals, I'm bringing swirlers. That ain't a new reality, damn it. That's what you already have. So I can't be a part of that. That's not a new reality for me. A new reality for me is for my people. What's best for us. And it is not best for us to be in a situation where white folks are. They need to be where they are. Swirlers need to be where they are. Homosexuals need to be where they are. And we need to be where we are. We need our own safety, our own agendas, our own way to chart our course. We don't need to continue to be beggars, to be weepers. We're smart enough to think for ourselves. We're smart enough to plan for ourselves. And we can say, well, if we exclude homosexuals and white people and swirlers, then we're going to get more scrutiny on us. you're going to have scrutiny regardless. So it is always better to already know your enemy and plan for your enemy. Why do you have to be? Because you're trying to grab your people. You're trying to grab your people. And I'm going to use Brother Guy as an example. Brother Guy has a spirit like mine. He has a spirit like mine. If I'm teaching and I'm talking to Brother Guy, and I say, Brother Guy, I want you to be part of this new reality. And Brother Guy asks me about homosexuals, and I say, they're going to be there. Brother Guy's not going to come with me. He's going to look at me like I'm a no good nigga because he don't want his children around that. He don't want to be around that. He don't want his family around that. If I say, well, what we're going to do is we're not going to say they're not allowed. We're not going to say that. There is nothing for Brother Guy to be confident in. Because one, if you are afraid to be yourself, if you are afraid to speak the truth, and you want to twist it in a way to deceive, you know better than the enemy. So when I say I don't fear the enemy, and you ask me a question, I gotta tell you the truth. I gotta tell you the truth. No homosexuals, white people, swirls, they're not allowed. It's simple and plain. There's no negotiation. I don't have negotiating room. I don't have it. So there is no negotiation with that. That stance will never go anywhere, because the minute it does, I'm no more good. I don't want my children to look at their father and say, why did you sell us out? Yes, you taught us this. Why would you sell us out? I don't want my children to tell their daddy that. So there is no wiggle room. And excuse me for being long, but I wanted to make sure that everybody understands my position. You got to understand my position. You may not like it, but you should be able to understand it and respect it, because I love you all. I love you all. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts whether you agree with me or not. That's never going to change my love for you.
Yes, sir.
But I got to tell you the truth. I got to give you where I stand. When Brother Tyler said something on air that I disagreed with, I dealt with it right there on air. I said, no, brother, we can't do that. I said it right there on air because I owe him that. I am my brother's keeper. I am. 110%. I don't give a damn whether somebody come and defend me or speak on my behalf or not, because that don't change me and my love for you. It don't change that. I want what's best for us all. Yes, and I'm not afraid to challenge the enemy. And I thank you for listening, and I'll rest my mind.
Definitely. Brother Talib, are you there? Okay. Let me just say this. Let me just ask, my good brother, Maurice, just a couple of questions. I am 100% in favor of your vision for this new reality. But the question that I have, and I have to speak up, for my good brother Talik, who I guess is not available right now to speak for himself. But okay, when we talk about a mass movement like the campaign towards Mississippi, when we talk about a movement that is going to need support from hundreds of thousands of Black people. And then from there, if we look at the mentality or the mental condition of Black people in 2018, interracial relationships are on the rise. The acceptance of homosexuality by Black people is continuing to rise. So, therefore, I would like to ask this question until we can get our brother Talik, to come on, and speak on this issue with, these things that we have, at least I could say the four brothers on this panel, would agree upon, is that with these acts that are detrimental to Black people being accepted more and more, in our community, how are we going to get the support, of the masses of Black people when, with these, these ills and stuff, being on the rise and Black people becoming more accepting of them?
Well, brother, I would have to say very honestly is that the premise that you're operating on is incorrect. Because if you look at any of movements that we've had in America, we've never had a majority of Black people supporting it. Neither for Pan-Africanism, there was never a majority. For Islam, there was never a majority. For the civil rights movement, there was never a majority. We have to realize that we don't need that. What we need is a committed few to begin. And that's what all of these other organizations started with, a committed few. The committed few took and turned those that went with them, and more began to come. So we will start out with the committed few. And as the message continue to grow, those people who the message vibrates with, they're going to come. They're going to come. That's how the thing operates. And when they come, they'll be found, they'll be put to work, and they'll do their job. And then the place in Mississippi, we will secure it. What you have to understand, and everybody needs to understand that, one, a swirler, they will look at us and they will understand, okay, well, we know they don't believe in that. What would be their benefit to leave wherever they are to come to a city that's dominated by nothing but Black people? There is no benefit in them. They'll stay wherever the hell they are because they would already understand. Just like one of the questions that we dealt with where the white person was saying something about, so will my family have to break up and all this foolishness? Because she was like, they watch my video. Her husband watches my video. Well, she already knows that that's not something I agree with. So if there's people in the town that thinks like us, she already knows. He already knows. Well, why would I want to be there? I can stay right here. Why am I going to move to trouble? I might as well stay where I'm at. Homosexuals. Why would homosexuals want to come when they already got everything that they need out there? Why would they want to come here when we don't want them, when we don't support them, when they're not going to get their way? Why would they waste time and energy to try and defeat us there when there are already other places that they've already won their fight?
Yes, sir.
And they can take up bigger issues. They don't want it. And then for our people who don't think like us, but they understand, shit, we need to get out of here, but they still with their drugs, they still doing the wrong shit. You got to clean up if you want to come in here, because in here is a clean environment for our children and families. So you can't come in here with that nigga shit. That nigga shit got to stay out there. Now, when we do what we do, we're smart enough to be able to say what we got to say the right way. But we don't change from our positions. These positions will never change, because if we change the positions, then the end goal will be destroyed.
Yes.
Because if we're talking about having a place for our children, the generations to come behind it, if we don't grow good crop because we're tweaking and turning and adding stuff in to the mix that don't belong, you're not going to get a clean, pure product. You're going to get an adulterated product. And an adulterated product is when you add something dirty or unclean to that which is clean. And so now it's adulterated. It's no good. You can't use it. So we either going to be a people that stand by our principles and build according to that, or we always going to be weak. We always going to be compromising. And I'm just not compromising.
I have the question. Okay. I have two questions, actually. I have one more question for you. And then from there, I have a question from our brother Guy Nollywood. Okay. The question that I would like you to answer. Okay. What about brothers like Shannon Sharpe? What about brothers who are married to devils? What about homosexuals that might want to come to the movement just to do some of the groundwork? Not saying that they're going to, and this goes for the interracial as well as the homosexuals, not saying that they're going to try to push their agenda in any way, shape, or form. But let's say that they want to get out here, help with the movement as far as like spread the word around, pass out some flyers, donate. What's your idea on like the Shannon Sharpes of the world, the brothers who speak out against racism and white supremacy, but are married to devils, as well as brothers who claim that they would, help, become a foot soldier for the movement, but they are poisoned. Their minds have been poisoned, with this homosexual agenda.
I would say no, because how can I trust them? How can I trust them? And I'm quite sure a homosexual or a swirler would say, well, how can you trust somebody who's not one of them? Trust is a big issue. But this is what I know, is that the enemy will send people among us. And if a swirler or whatever, they want to support what we're doing, then they can do that over wherever the hell they at. They don't have to join us. They don't have to do that. If they believe what we believe is good, then they should say, it's good. I believe it. You don't have to. We don't have to look at things from the perspective of we need this or we need that from them. We don't, because we're smart enough. We're smart enough. I mean, look at the homosexuals. At first, they were doing it the wrong way because they were trying to put shit on the ballot and making people who don't believe in that vote for it. Then they finally got smart and said, well, that shit don't work. Let me try it a different way. So they went about it a different way and they begin to win. They begin to win because they did what? They put politicians on their side. Okay? They put politicians on their side, and so they begin to win. They said, to hell with getting regular people who don't even believe like we believe because it's a waste of time. Let's go after the people who can make the fucking decisions. And that's what they did. And that's why they are successful, because they understood that. So we, on our end, we have to understand that as well. And if we don't grow up and understand that, then we're going to be making serious mistakes because we have not matured to the level of understanding that, look, we don't need other people. We just need commitment on our end to push our own agenda. It's just that simple. We can do this. It's not hard. It's not hard by a long shot. We can do this, and we must do this. Now, there's a app called Band. And on this app, I had at the time a client who is in prison, and they rioted in Ohio, a prison in Ohio, the Louisville prison. And they rioted. You had the Muslims, you had the skinheads, you had the El Rookins, you had the Black Gangster Disciples. You know, they joined together and they rioted, take over part of the prison. So my client was the Muslim brother, Imam Hassan. That was the client that we were working for. And so I had to get out there to white folks. I had to reach out to white folks who were racist, who did not like black people, but get them to do what I needed them to do. And I'm going to read to you real quickly the conversation that we had with me and this racist. I come in and I say, peace and blessings, everyone. Then Matt says, wrong group for you, nigga. I say, Matt, I thought this group is about getting justice. Have you heard about the Lucasville uprising in Ohio? It's where white supremacist group, black nationalist group, the Muslims, the Black Gangster Disciples group, all came together and took over a part of a prison because they were all being badly mistreated. But they came together to take justice. I know we are all suffering from the same enemy. Let's agree on what we can and help each other when we can. I am not here to try to marry your daughter or even live in your community. We have a common enemy that we both need to defeat. You feel me? And then Matt says, okay, I see your point and agree. There is an agenda here to point out the government ain't doing shit to help our people. Then I say, exactly. It's up to us to make the necessary changes that will allow us to get the greatest amount of justice that we can give. And he says, true, I give you that. You're a black man, not a dumb nigga. Appreciate the words. Now, that cracker, do I love that cracker? Fuck no. But I let him know straight up, I don't want your daughter. I don't want to fucking live in your community. I want my own. But this is an issue where you got interest and I got interest. So we don't join the same group, but we can ally. And you do your shit and I'm going to do my shit for the greater good. To meet in the middle and handle the bigger enemy, then we go back our separate ways. So if anything, and And as I told this to Brother Talib, I hope you are successful in getting your city. For those of y'all that want to go that route, I hope you're successful. Because what that does is, when you open up and go send people to the House and the Senate, and if they're got 2 seat people in their city and we got 2 people in our city, that's 4 people in the House and 4 or 2 people in the Senate that's going to represent our ideas. So that's great for the whole. Now, we would bump heads if they decided, well, we want our rules of homosexuality to come into your area. Then that would be a problem. And we would have to fight on that. That would be the problem. And we would fight on that. Other than that, we don't have an issue. We don't have an issue. So if they want to do that, I wish they be successful. Yes, because in the House, it would benefit the whole. And I rest my mind.
Okay, definitely. One more quick question, brother.
Talik, are you there? Talik?
I don't think Talik is around. Let me ask. I have a question for you, brother Guy.
Okay.
As well as I have one quick question for Brother Maurice before I get over to you, brother Guy. Okay, brother Maurice. Speaking of a hypothetical situation, if there was a sister that was 26 years old, sexually confused, and grew up, with the indoctrination, of Euro American, brought up in a Euro American public schooling system, what would be one message that you would send a sister that is quote unquote sexually confused, although she loves the black man, she loves her black men, but she is not opposed to interracial relationships, because we as black men, we are a defeated people. The racist European, he conquered us. What would be a message that you would send to a sister that is sexually confused, although she loves she loves her black men, but she's not opposed to interracial mixing? What would be a message that you would send a sister like that?
Okay, and let me just ask this real quickly. Is she wanting to be a part of the new reality?
Well, I mean, this is a hypothetical.
Right.
This is based off of, some sisters that, have encountered.
Mm-hmm.
They are very receptive, to black men. They love the black man, but, they still have this mentality. They have this mentality. They have, this train of thought that all white people ain't bad. I'll just put it just like that. What would you say to a sister like that? I'm just trying to.
Mm-hmm. The real quickly, and I apologize for always talking long, but I really feel like I have to just, get my points across. But succinctly, I would teach her why that is not proper, okay? So that she will have an opportunity to accept her own and be herself, because she was born in a system that's diametrically opposed to her being herself. So, that's there. It is our responsibility to teach our people. Now, we would want all of our people in this new reality, but we know all of our people are not mentally fit to be there. So what we would do, we would continue to teach. Even though we got the new reality up, we would still be teaching so that our people that's not in, that want to come in, but they got to clean up, we give them a process, a way to come in so that they will be clean by the time that they come on into the society. So, we would continue the method of teaching, because everybody all of our people deserves the opportunity to come. They all deserve the opportunity to come. So that means we as teachers got to continue to teach. And we ask them, do you want to accept your own and be yourself? And they say, yes, I want to accept my own and be myself. Then we come. Now, they don't come into the completed reality. They come into orientation. And they spend their time in orientation, being taught what it's like in the new reality and making sure that they accept their responsibilities to live in that new reality. And if they pass orientation, then they come on and we welcome our people home. And if they don't, then we tell them, you're not ready. You got to go back out until you're ready. Because a dope addict will not get cleaned up until they are ready. When they hit absolute rock bottom and they're tired of the mess, then they're ready. But up until then, they'll give you the talk and looking away to get away to go get some more high. So that is the perfect way to be able to teach them and to bring them into the gateway of this new reality, bringing them into the gateway. So we love our people and we go after our people and we open the door for them to accept their own and be themselves. But just like you, just like me, just like all of us, we had to make a decision to say, I'm fed up with this nigga shit. I'm fed up with this enemy. I want my own. We were at the 0 point. We wanted our own. So we had to go to where we could get that. So that can be a part of who we are. And that makes us the giants we are on the road to become. So we always leave a door so that our people can come through when they reach that point and say, I am done. A brother showed me a picture today, and it was him, and he had his war hat on, and then the caption, it said, killing the nigga within. And I was so happy, so proud that because it shows that our people are thirsting for that message and they understand it and they're killing the nigga within, the nigga that makes us weak, the nigga that keeps us in these positions, in that station that you call life. But in reality, it's death. So we leave the door open and we give them a process.
Yes, sir. Okay, Brother Guy Nollywood, are you there? Brother Guy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yes, indeed. I have a question for you. If you were governor of this new reality, if you were the governor of Mississippi,
right,
what would you do as far as like implementing laws? What would you do with the homosexuals and the swirlers?
Number one, I know they will be within that state. So let's be realistic. There's homosexuals everywhere in every state. So,
no, brother, let me rephrase this question. If you had complete control, if you had a country to where you were a president or dictator,
okay,
in Africa, I want to see if you had complete control. I
will do the same thing what they did to Uganda. I will have an anti-homosexual law, and I will give a reason why I'll pass that law. I'm just not going to just pass it. I'm going to give a reason. Because if you look at the amount of diseases among homosexuals. When you're dealing with brainwashing on children into that lifestyle, is a very deadly lifestyle. You know, LGBT people would not tell you. It's a very deadly lifestyle. If anybody, people do research. People they'll tell you how, oh, this is about living your life. Yeah, you can live your life any way you want. But some lives are deadly lives. That's like people say, well, I want to be able to smoke as much as I want. I don't need the people telling me what cigarettes to buy and how much cigarettes I need to smoke. I want to kill myself. But if I became a leader or a president or any country, it would be outlawed. Anything that's deadly will be outlawed. I don't want to kill people. I don't want to ruin families. First of all, let's be realistic. If I'm not about that lifestyle, what makes you think I want everybody else? What makes you think I'm going to support a lifestyle that I don't even support? You see what I'm saying? If I'm a family man, that means I value family. Am I right? So that means that I'm going to make sure that everybody values that. And if they don't like it, they can leave. Plain and simple. So that's the thing. I mean, people have to respect the law of the land. Once the law is passed, that's it. If Black people had to respect the lynching laws and the Jim Crow laws, the anti-Black laws, which is Jim Crow, and we had to deal with it for a certain amount of years, then people can respect the laws that I will put in. That's just how it is. So it would just like Uganda, it would be an anti-homosexual law would be in place. Because I'm not about that certain behavior. Also, too, it would be when you're dealing with interracial relations, that would be in place as well. It will be an anti-interracial relations. Now, I think when segregation happened, when Black people could not marry outside their race and vice versa, you have a lot of Black families. You have Black people sticking together, and that's how we prosper. That's the only thing that's the only thing that I appreciate as far as the segregation. I'm not for segregation. I'm for separation, just like Malcolm said. But I will put that in place. I will give my reasons why. I'm just not going to just say it. You have to give your reasons, and most of the reasons will make sense. That's it. So that's the only thing I can say. It would be a law in place.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Can I add one thing right quick?
Yes, indeed.
One thing that I do want to add, and taking a complete state is not going to happen in our lifetime. That is going to be done unless this big final war that America is supposed to go through, if that happens during our lifetime, then yeah, we'll take the state during that time. But if it doesn't, we're not going to take the complete state in our lifetime. It would be in our children's, lifetime, because the way that you would have to go about doing that's an overall process. But taking cities, you can do that in no matter of time. Especially because I was looking at even different ones that I was looking at today as I was putting this report together. there's work. There's true work. So, you'll get the cities faster than you would, of course, the state. But over time, you would capture the state, definitely.
I agree.
Yes, indeed. It's my brother Talik. Brother Talik, are you with us, sir?
I hope he didn't fall asleep.
Brother Talik. Okay. Let me just put this on the table. Okay. I spoke with my, brother Talik in the conversation. We had a private conversation, and he expressed some of his concerns. What brother Talik told me was the fact that he was not looking to become a dictator to the point to where, like, even though we know that homosexuality and interracial relationships produce nothing, they produce nothing beneficial, to the black family. But at the same time, if someone was to pose this question, who are we to tell people? Who are we to tell people what they can do in the privacy of their own bedrooms? How would we be any better than a slave master on a plantation once we get to the point that we can dictate what people can do in their bedrooms? Now, of course, we are not trying to condone pedophilia. We're not trying to condone illegal drug usage or illegal drug sales. We're not trying to condone murder, rape, or anything involuntary. But when it comes to just telling people that we are going to dictate what one can do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, if they want to sleep with somebody of the same sex, if they want to bring a devil into their bedroom, if it's consensual, the question that I would like to pose in defense of my brother Talik and his position and what we spoke about: who are we? What gives us the right? What gives us the authority to be able to dictate what a free person can do in the privacy of their own bedroom? If they choose to sleep with a white woman, if a black woman chooses to sleep with a white, Mexican, or Asian man, what gives us the right to be able to dictate what free people, not slaves, can do in the privacy of their own bedroom? Let me just put that out there for some type of discussion.
Well, I think the premise again is wrong, because I don't know what people do in their bedroom. We're not in their bedroom. We don't know. So we're not telling you what you can do in your bedroom. We're saying that homosexuality is not allowed. And what gives me the right to say it? Because I'm part of the builders of the reality. That's what. And if I wasn't part of the building, then I don't have a say. But I am part of the building. Now, I'm not a part of the homosexual building. I'm not a part of their red, white, and blue or rainbow shit. I ain't a part of that. So what gives me the right to go in they shit that they running and tell them what you can do and what you can't? I don't have a right. So I don't go. Now, it don't speak to them. It don't speak to them. The Reality's Temple And I learned this from listening to our brother's last video. The reality temple stands for homosexuality. He doesn't say, it's okay, but he say, come as you are. The reality temple stands for swirlers, stands for white people. They come as you are. I am not that. That is not me. I don't believe in that. So if there were any mistakes, I think the mistake was made when it was sent to me. I mean, because you got to know who I am before you invite me. And it reminds me of a time when we had a host, Shanez, for State of the Black Parent on our network. And, it was Monday nights, and I would come on, and, sometimes of these people that guests that she have on, just, they not thinking, and my God, this one sister that was on, and she was saying foolishness, and I just couldn't help it. I just went off. And, Shanez had to tell me, shut up, and it was because I was hurting what she was doing, because that lady was going to be a sponsor to the conference. So, my thing was, well, don't invite me nowhere if you don't want to hear me say the truth. Don't invite me. And so for almost like a whole year, I didn't tune into her program. Because if you don't want me to be myself, then don't ask me to come. Because when you ask me to come and I show up, you should expect that I'm going to tell the truth if you give me an opportunity to open my mouth. I'm going to tell the truth. This is who I am. You cannot expect the Nation of Islam to come and say, okay, yeah, we're going to do that, when homosexuals are not allowed in the mosque. They're allowed to come in and listen to a lecture, but if they want to join and it's found out you homosexual, you can't. You cannot join. If it's found out that you got in and then you became homosexual, you're getting kicked out. Contrary to these fake pictures, there is no white FOI or no white MGT. It doesn't exist. Now, one of the minister's sons had a child by a white woman. Farrakhan didn't have a child by the white woman. And the white woman is not living in the minister's house. There's some of the lies that are out there. You gotta know who you inviting to the meeting before you have the meeting. You gotta know. When I have meetings, if you're not of my thinking, why would I invite you? I wouldn't, because you don't think like me. Though you don't think like me, I'm not going to bring somebody in that will change the direction of where I'm going, or that will listen to what I'm saying and say, oh shit, let me go run and tell this to somebody else, because this nigga's a threat. And that's what you got to realize. When you talk about building a new reality, you talking about pulling down power and replacing it with righteousness. And do you think the enemy is going to just let you do it with not a problem? So you better already be thinking about the different issues. So the people that we get think the way we think, and they already know, well, this is what you need to be looking for. This is what you need to be looking for. because it's going to help you to survive. It's going to help you to be successful. Simple as that. We see our enemies. We got to plan 3 steps ahead. Always. Always. Every person has to be trained 3 jobs ahead of their current position for the continuation of the movement. This is not a game. And some people think it is, but it's not. This is reality. And this is something that is going to happen in our lifetime. This is not a bullshit. See, this is why you don't have people, big name people who do their shit out there. You don't see them coming because this is something that strikes fear in the heart of niggas. Because you are challenging power. And if you don't walk right when you challenge power gonna take your ass out. Simple as that. So as I said, I know I was born for this. That's why when the brother sent it and I watched it, I said, hell yeah. And I began working. I didn't wait. I began working. I began compiling lists of people that I want at the first meeting. He didn't know it, but I knew it because I'm an organizer already. I'm the type of man that if I feel this is what it is, I'm going to bring it into existence. So I began moving people that I know that we need. And so now we're on the second wave of moving people and getting things together for the next meeting. And there's going to be more people there, but with a specific purpose, because we will be successful. We will be successful. We will do this. That's why I keep saying you're going to have this city in your lifetime. In your lifetime. This ain't a pipe dream. This is reality. Because this is what I know. This is what I'm good at. And we're going to make it happen. Simple as that. And I rest my mind.
Yes, sir. Brother Guy. Brother Guy, are you there? Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. I guess I would ask the same question of you, because there were emails sent to one of my brothers. I will not disclose his name, live right as of right now, but there were emails sent that said that we're going to have issues with the type of anti-interracial rhetoric that they've been hearing you spew on these platforms when it comes to this Mississippi campaign. So what I'm trying to do right now is just ask you to personally address anybody, as well as address the question that I asked of Brother Maurice when it came to what would you feel gives you the right to tell people what they can do in the privacy of their own bedrooms? That's the question.
Well, I have to, just like Brother Maurice said, like I wouldn't know what they do behind. Like my whole thing is don't bring it into my household, whether it's in TV and movies, and I don't need to see that. My kids don't need to see that. That's my concern. But whatever people do in the privacy of your home, I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't really care. I just don't want it in public. I don't want it in politics. I don't want that to be the main focus of everything. I think that's my issue. I've heard our brother said, "Come as you are." I've definitely heard that, and which I was kind of disappointed because I thought the whole purpose of liberation was to be anti-European. Everybody knows that homosexuality is a European behavior. That's a no-brainer. And just like the sister said one time when she was on that show, she said that homosexuality came from Africa. And what did I say? I said, well, you need to show me proof.
That's right.
And what did she say? She didn't have the proof. So my question is to her, then why would you say it? Why would you say that? Why would you lie? Why would you put that poison out there like that? You know it's not real. This is what we're facing among our people. This is why I say it's a civil war. We can't save everybody. We have to be, we're gonna talk about reality. Then that's the reality, that we are in a civil war. This is more than fighting against white supremacy. This is more than against, we have black people that think white. This is what we're facing. So what I'm saying is this is not the white man's fight no more. He has his guard dogs now that's asking these dumbass questions. So they want to be part of the liberation, but again, try to implement the white man's poison into the liberation. These are agents. We have to eliminate that. If we're going to talk about living peacefully and get away from white supremacy, no, we cannot allow people's that European agenda into the African liberation, because at the end of the day, it's still African. It's African. This is not just a black thing or a native thing. I'm not into that Native American bullshit. I'm not Indian. I'm African. That's why I represent RBG. We have to keep it African. We have to learn from the African nations when they fight against white supremacy. They pass certain laws. They give their reasons. And that's it, because that's not their culture. This is our survival. Our culture is our survival. We have to understand that. We tell black people, if you're comfortable under white supremacy, then live with white folks. They'll be happy to accept you. Maybe not all of them, but most of them will, as long as you support their agendas. But other than that, we have to do our own thing, because we're dying. We're not dying by the bullet. We're dying by diseases. Syphilis. I gave a report, a 2014 report, that 85% of homosexuals have syphilis and HIV. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. 85%. So what do you mean, come as you are? What do you mean by that? And our people are dying. Look at Atlanta, Georgia, how most of those black homosexuals got diseases. Almost damn near 90% of them. Come as you are? I don't think so. We don't need that. And then they lie to our women, pretending they're straight. How most of these guys pretending they straight, sleeping with our women. And their sisters are catching it. They don't know why they're catching it, because they think the men are these niggas thinking these niggas are out there straight. And they lie to our women. And then you have the black woman telling you she's okay with that shit. So she's brainwashed too. So we have to educate our people about these biological warfares, because a lot of them don't know. They think it's physical. They think, oh my God, KKK. That's all they think. That's all they think. That's what racism is, KKK. But it's bigger than that. So once we educate, because education comes first, about Okay, he had a personal call. Talik.
I have
Talik,
one more question.
Talik, you're next, brother. You're next. I just want to put that out there.
I have one more question, and if you could just make this really brief, since
Okay.
my good brother Talik.
So, yeah, Talik got to
I have
come.
one
Okay.
quick question. Okay, speaking upon Black leadership, what are your quick thoughts about? Okay, when we talk about Black leadership, what are just
that's a question towards me,
Barack
right?
Obama?
That's question. That's my question, right?
Black leadership. What are your thoughts on Barack Obama, his agenda?
So, okay, that's my question, right?
No, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So your question is, what is my thoughts about Barack Obama?
When it comes to the homosexual agenda.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I knew his game a long time ago, and I was trying to warn our people about him. First of all, he came out of nowhere. Usually, when you vote for somebody, you're familiar with that person. Everybody knows about the Clintons. Everybody knows about the Bushes. But no one knew about this Barry character. I just feel like he was a plant. And I've been saying that. But one thing, what really disgusted me about him was when he said about he wasn't for reparations for Black people. As far as the homosexual agenda, there's been many. There's a white man came out, and I forgot his name, and he said that he slept with Barack Obama. Huh. He even passed the lie detector test because the people thought he was lying. He passed it, but they kept they I don't know if they try to hush him up. You could still YouTube the video, and he said that they did drugs, and they made out in a limo. What? So this was. You can look that up in a YouTube.
I got my mic muted. That.
And this is doing when this motherfucker was running. So I knew he was a homosexual. I believe that white guy. White guys is not going to lie like that. And matter of fact, in his book, he did a lot of drugs. So when you into drugs, you're going to experiment. This man said he had an identity crisis. So this man had a mental problem. Negroes voted a man who had an identity crisis. He didn't even know who he was. So if you look at the history of mulattoes, they indulge in all types of lifestyles. Yes, I believe it. I believe it. Michelle Obama did not want to get with him. So that was a business deal. Because remember, marriage is a business. So she got with him because she helped him become president. Remember, Michelle helped him. She went along with the business there because she knew she wanted to be the first African woman in the first lady in the White House. I was happy to see a Black woman in the White House, but not a mulatto, because you had many brothers and sisters, real Black people, wanted to ran for office and they didn't make it. So we already know why, because that's too close to the fucked up history of America. So I already knew this man was a homosexual. Remember, Newsweek said that he was the first gay president. And guess what? Did he deny it? Nope. Did he say anything about, oh, that's not true, take that down? Because if you did that to President Trump, Trump would be outraged. Because Trump don't play that shit. Do that shit to Trump and see what happened. Do that shit with Bill Clinton and see what happened, or Bush, or any other president. So I rest my mic on that, because he didn't deny it that he wasn't the first gay president.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Okay, we have Brother Talik in the building.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir. Did you catch any of the questions that were asked?
No, sir. Unfortunately, I had a personal call I had to take, and I really didn't listen to a whole lot of what was said. So
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think how to briefly fill you in on what was spoken on. Okay. We're basically just talking about this new reality. And we just kind of want to get some of your thoughts. Up to this point, we've had what I would say is a very good discussion. Brother Maurice and Brother Guy, they gave their perspective. When it came to building up, this new reality.
Absolutely.
And what should and should not be accepted within it. So I guess I will begin by asking this question here.
Okay.
Brother, I'm just turning the mic over to you. What is your vision? Your vision for this new reality?
I would say I could answer that very simply. It's something, my vision is probably the same thing that you would expect from a believer in any of these religious belief systems, because they ask us, whether it is Islam or Christianity, they are asking or guiding the people towards a righteous lifestyle. And even though I don't advocate a belief in God, I feel that's the correct manner where we need to go in that direction to be a righteous people, regardless to a belief. You don't have to believe in a God to not steal or lie or cheat on your wife and all these different things. You don't need the 10 Commandments to do those different things. Now, if you do, that's fine and dandy, but I don't need all those different things to understand, to treat a person the way I want to be treated. And there are certain elements, of course, within the righteous lifestyle that is detrimental to that. So, but also at the same time, we have to understand that we're dealing with a people that's messed up, that's been in the gutter. And, we'll probably get more into that in our discussion tomorrow. But that's where, that's where we might have certain problems, because the way I look at the whole thing is, some of us are ready and some of us aren't. So, but also some of us deserve an opportunity and a chance. And, even though we stink a little bit, we raggedy, it's called, from the religious text, we speak about God and we're supposed to be gods. They said that we're gods and goddesses and all like that. And we, in Islam, they say in their prayers, "Oh Allah, the beneficent, the merciful." That's an attribute of God. One of the attributes of God is mercy. So even though we have people that's not quite the way we want them to be or whatever, when you God, you have to be merciful because they just messed up. You have to have mercy on their soul. You have to have some mercy, understanding, that they're not right, but do they want to be right? That's the key. Now, if you don't want to be right, then I can't do nothing for you. But if you want to be right, the scripture said, "Come as you are." But that don't mean you stay that way. I love you. You can come, but you have to clean yourself up later on. You can't stay the way that you are, because in a righteous society, that a lot of these different behaviors and the way that we think, it can't work. Otherwise, we might as well leave things alone. If we're gonna bring dirt in the house, we might as well just stay to hell where we are. We're trying to create a new house. You don't bring dirty shoes into a new house, on a floor that somebody just cleaned up. So, but this is a catch, not a catch-22. But when you're trying to be merciful with somebody, out of love, you might let them track a little bit. because you want to help them out of mercy. But you can't stay that way. You can't because you'll spoil the whole everything that you're trying to do. You'll spoil it. You spoil the whole. I guess you could say the whole enchilada there. You mess everything up because you're trying to create something new. You're trying to create something new. You can't create something new bringing in, old baggage. It's not going to work. But again, like I said, out of mercy, and if that person is sincere, you got to give them an opportunity to try, but let them understand. A person understand, come as you are, but you can't stay that way. We have to, because a righteous lifestyle dictates certain things, and we know that a lot of these different things just can't. It's just not going to work. Not going to work. And a lot of things must be understood too. If you control that in your society and you form that society the way it needs to be formed, even though you've been merciful to have a certain amount of these elements within that society, all that would disappear because you're not creating the elements that create those things. You understand what I'm saying? Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a
Yes,
question.
sir.
I have
Yes,
a question.
sir.
So
I have another question, but I don't want to cut you off.
no, let me ask. I'm just going to ask Brother Talib this question because I think what he said was kind of interesting about come as you are. When you look at the nature of Islam, when the brothers come in, they come in messed up. And of course, it's a huge adjustment, but Elijah Muhammad had fixed these guys up and then made them a new people, especially the black man and black woman. And I see your point. My question to you is, if we control a city or a state, what would the laws be? What would be the laws so you could keep people in line or to remind people not to go that route? Will there be laws in place, an anti homosexual law, or like you have in Uganda? Would it have a law against interracial relations? Because if you talk about black liberation, these things are, you talking about, I always thought that it was supposed to be an anti-European organization. So we know that homosexual is European behavior. We know that interracial relationship is another way of a war tactic to separate and divide black families. So what is your thoughts on these things? Would you allow these things to still continue if you have controlled a Mississippi or any other city or state?
Well, like I've said before, what must be understood and taken consideration is that this is still the United States of America. That's your problem. There's certain things you'll be able to do, and there's certain things that you won't be able to do. I mean, you can do it, but you're gonna get some backlash because this is still the United States of America. Now, if you stay to the concept of simply creating a sanctuary for your people, you can go a long way. Stay with the concept of creating a sanctuary where you gain enough momentum and enough support, then you can go that way. I mean, if you don't have that type of support, if you don't have any kind of power, you can't dictate anything. You're still under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So you're limited in what you can do. However, if you wish to take up arms and challenge the government, then that's different, and you win the battle, then you can do whatever you want to. But if you're not willing to do that, you're still under the jurisdiction of the United States government, because federal law supersedes state law. No matter what law that you make, it can come, it can be put down by the federal government. Just like in many states, it's legal to do marijuana. It's legal in that state, but the federal government can still charge you with a crime because it's still illegal as far as the federal government is concerned.
So
That's one of the problems that you have right now with this legalization of marijuana.
Can you show me any proof or evidence in the Constitution that we have to support or any type of homosexuality in the Constitution?
No, I didn't say that you're supporting it. You cannot tell a citizen of the United States where to live.
No. It's not about where we live. That's not what I'm saying. Is that, because we're talking about, warfare, right? We got the physical warfare among Black people, where you got police killing us and Klansmen and all this stuff. But then let me say this real quick. But then you got the biological warfare, where you have diseases,
right?
And 85% of the diseases come from homosexuals and bestiality. So we have to look into these things, because these things are killing our people.
Right. There's certain things that we'll be able to do. So, for instance, a prime example would probably be like the state of Utah. I don't know if any of you brothers ever visited Utah.
No.
But Utah is controlled by the Mormons.
Okay.
And so a lot of their things, if you go to Utah, the Mormon church influences everything that happens in that state. So they really don't want you to drink at all. But this is the United States. You can't tell nobody they can't drink and where they can go and blah, blah, blah. But if you go to that state, people complain about the liquor in that state because the liquor is watered down. So you're going to have to drink 3 times as much to try to get drunk there, because they don't want you to drink there anyway. And they also do things to discourage drinking liquor after a certain period of time and blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of things that you'll be able to do. Like I said, by the example of the Mormon church, influence in the state of Utah. And that's what I'm looking at as far as what you can and cannot do. Like living in that manner, you'll be able to influence a whole lot of things because you have that type of power. But your problem is, don't cross the line. If you cross the line into the belief that people think that you're being discriminatory against an American citizen, then that's when it starts getting difficult, and you're going to start having problems, because they're going to complain to the federal government, and then here come the feds looking into the situation and what's going on in Mississippi, and all that kind of bull crap, and you don't want all that type of mess.
Well, let me say this, because if you look at the white Jewish people, they're protected because they came as under a religious organization where did you know that the government won't even bother them to be even if there was a draft into a war, the government won't even bother them, because their religion would not allow them to draft them or even bother them to serve.
Right.
So they're protected somehow because they come as a nation. Now, what I'm saying is this: since we're as a nation, I'm thinking we're a nation, we should have some sort of protection.
Right.
There's things that we're just not going to tolerate, or that we just don't believe in. Right. If you look at places like Kenya. When Barack Obama came over there and started talking about the LGBT or whatever, they knocked him down. They said, look, this is not in our culture, so we're not going to talk about that. And he had to respect that. So if we come as a nation and say, look, this is what we are not, we are a nation, we're not about that, because we come as a culture. The government has to recognize that, like they recognize everybody else. This is not saying that we would tell somebody what to live or whatever, but we'd say, look, we don't want you to spread your filth on our TVs or through our schools. We're not going to let you do that.
Right.
So everybody deserves to have food, shelter, and clothing. We're not saying that. We're saying that as far as spreading their agenda to our children, to the families and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. What's your stance on that?
I concur with you on that. I concur 1,000%. But you can't do that till you put yourself in a position so that you can have that type of power.
I agree.
Not, just starting off, but the thing about it, how can you get there if you have a method where it's not supported by the people, you'll never get there. You have to begin put yourself in a position, it's like trying to get children how to eat their vegetables, trying to get them that taste good, trying to get them to eat their vegetable, make it taste good. You got to be able to put it in a manner, take their medicine rather. You got to sweeten up, you got to make it where it's palatable so they'll be able to take it until you get to that point. Because I understand exactly what you're saying. Once you get to the point where, like for instance, you get to the point where we've actually established ourselves in that state, then we have power. And we have say so because the people gonna back you up, and this is what the people want. Just like in Utah, the people want that, so they back it up. So it's so even when the federal government comes and says such and such, they got to be careful stepping on toes because they got a whole state that is unified on this position. Well, so the same thing here in this case.
Well, I was thinking about when I voted for my sister, Cynthia McKenzie. I didn't vote for that piece of shit Barack Obama. I voted for a real sister, Cynthia McKenzie. She was for reparations for Black people.
Yeah.
And she had a lot of votes. And I just think that if we can elect somebody or put our money where our mouth is and point somebody that's going to represent us, I think we can get the people. We're gonna know who's gonna be with us, and we know who's not gonna be with us. Now everybody didn't. Now not all Black people went with Cynthia McKenzie,
right?
Because number one, they probably looked at because she's a woman, but they didn't look at the fact what she stood for. Our women always been powerful people. They've been rulers from the beginning, and they still rulers if they do right by their people. And she was for us. She didn't say anything about homosexuality. She didn't say anything about anything. She was for pro-education and reparations. We need somebody that's going to represent us to get into the power. And I think we can have enough people to do that. Now, whether that person might win, probably not the first try, but we just got to keep pushing. That's all we're saying.
That's the purpose of this campaign, is to put ourselves in a position so that we can win these seats.
Yes, sir. I have a quick question. And this was something that was brought to me, if I can throw this on the table right now. Now, when my brother Guy spoke on certain things that would not be tolerated, we have to draw a line there. Because if we just talk about even Uganda and homosexuality being outlawed in Uganda, did you know that there was a town in Uganda, Africa, that elected a white mayor? So I guess the question that I have that I would like to bring to the panel is, okay, if we want to speak out against homosexuality and interracial relationships, would we all here agree that there are thousands of other things that are also very disruptive to the progression of Black people? Are we going to call them all out? Are we going to look into our own closets and see what have we done? Because I just guess the question, people want to pick and choose. And this is something that was brought to my attention, how people want to pick and choose. They want to talk about the dirt and, how destructive homosexuality or interracial relationships are to the Black community, but they don't talk nothing about alcoholism. They don't speak on, drug usage, drugs being sold 20 feet away from schools, where our black babies are going, trying to get an education, in the white man system. So, they can, at least stay out of prison. I mean, what I'm saying is the fact, at the end of the day, that there are a lot of destructive behaviors that are plaguing the black community. So what if someone that was involved in an interracial relationship said, hey, you used to do drugs. So if I'm not allowed into this nation, what makes you any better? Because you are still participating in a behavior that is destructive to black people. That would be my question. This question was asked of me. And I'm just curious to see, how the panel will respond to that.
I just want to let me address that. First of all, I think that's the whole purpose of the campaign, that I thought that we would look for anything that destroy or is destroying black people, like the heavy drug users. We see that how they pumped all the guns and the drugs in the black community, and look what happened. It almost wiped out families. We still recovering from that. Now you have the alcoholism. That's a little iffy, because some abuse it, some don't. Some people like to have fun, party, and I'm not knocking that. It's just that people need to be educated on how much they need to drink. I think that I don't think we should ban it, because look, I like to drink here and now. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Look, to me, because I don't abuse it, I can have fun. You see what I'm saying? Some people can't. Some people get drunk and get violent. They use alcohol to get violent. So,
but brother Guy, that's the point we trying to make. You got a sin that you can tolerate, but you got other people that got a sin. You say, oh no, we can't do that. The other nations said ban them and kill them and all that stuff. But it's all right for you to get your drink on.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm not saying that. Let me correct.
You just said it. You said I don't mind. I take me a little drink now and then.
I said alcoholism need to be more. Need more educated. People need to be more educated of it. There's not enough education.
That's all we need, is just to educate on alcohol.
Well, some people abuse it.
But
I'll tell you what. Some people abuse eating. Some people don't stop eating, and that's the reason why you have an obesity problem in America. So you're going to prevent people? Either you're going to educate people to eat healthy, or you're going to just allow them to eat whatever they want.
That goes back to what I was saying. I'm gonna let my brother Talik speak, but let me just throw this in here real quick. That could be the same thing when I could look at some of what's happening over in Africa right now. Now, there are homosexual black men, and what I wonder about some of these African nations is, why are they putting black homosexuals to death? Why aren't they going after it's rare to hear a case of a white homosexual being tried in, any African court, being sentenced to the death penalty. But it's like, people over there. That's why I say that's why I speak up on picking and choosing. Now, I cannot get over this, and I don't care how many feathers that I ruffle, not from the panel. Right. I'm talking about to people who have these agendas, is what I call them. Okay, now they are in certain areas of Africa. They are murdering, trying black people for capital punishment for homosexuality. But what are they doing to the white colonizers that had the history to come over into their continent and kidnap their people? We don't even have to go. What the colonizers did, that's a whole entirely different discussion. They raped our people, subjugated our people, fed little babies to alligators. Why aren't those African nations killing these Europeans? So I just want to throw that on the table. But
Well,
I didn't mean to cut nobody off. I just want to put that on the table just to show, kind of where I'm coming from in a sense. But Brother Talik.
Yeah, look. See, this is very this issue is wow, how can I explain it? But look at this. See, I don't like that either, picking and choosing. The sin. One sin is greater than the other. If you're going to treat one sin or some detrimental behavior, then you got to do all of them that way. That's what's fair. That's what's justice. Oh, well, my sin ain't as bad as the other. According to who? To you? Oh, my sin is crime is a crime. Stealing a newspaper out of a store is a crime, just like robbing the store is a crime. They both crimes. You treat them a little bit different because of the nature of the crime. But a crime is a crime. They both are. You can be punished. But you don't want nothing to happen to what you like. Brother said that he likes to take a little drink. There's nothing. Just teach. How come we can't teach our brothers and sisters? Say, look, we bringing you in here, but you can't. Those type of behaviors. We can't. We can't do that here. Why can't we teach our brothers and sisters that, teach them about doing better? I'm not saying that you're gonna expect somebody. We're not, for those who you got brothers and sisters actually that would try to do differently. And then you got those ones who are nothing but troublemakers. They want to bring that same kind of garbage, the gay and lesbian parades and all that kind of good stuff. That's what they want to bring to us. And of course, that's not going to be tolerated. But you got those brothers and sisters, they just want to live a life. I'm black, I'm oppressed, and I would like to get away from that. Hell, I've been a homosexual all my life. You think, as far as they're concerned, I've been this way all my life. But you think I don't deserve to come into a sanctuary? Because I could be I'm homosexual, but I could be driving down the street and get pulled off by a cop and get shot in the head just as anybody else do. I want to be part of that too. I want to be part of the sanctuary. I'm not looking to cause no trouble. I just want to live my life. Hell, I'm not running around even telling you that I'm a homosexual. I'm just living my damn life. Give me a chance. I want to be liberated too. I want different things. I don't want to force my life down on little children or nothing like that. So it goes back to the mercy. It goes back to the mercy that we have in our hearts for our own people. If you love somebody, then you got to be merciful and give them an opportunity and a chance. Just like I'm giving you an opportunity and a chance, and I know that you like to take a drink. I don't drink at all. So if I don't drink at all, I guess I feel I'm more righteous than you are. And I said we should not drink. No alcohol should be allowed among, we don't do that at all. And you said, well, I like to take a swig now and then. No. I'm more righteous than you because I don't drink at all. Or I don't smoke. So people can't come and they smoke. And our people have these habits. But see, the thing about it, you are in the process, in the beginning of a process, just like going back to how Elijah Muhammad was cleaning up the brothers and the sisters. This was a process. Nobody didn't just join the nation and they automatically stopped smoking cigarettes and eating pork and doing whatever they was doing. It's a process. You have to allow people to be able to try to change and do better. And this is something that's gonna, this is a process that we can begin, but the end result, when you guide the children and you guide the people in the right direction, we might not see the final result because we'll be dead and gone. But in our lifetime, because we stink, all of us been sprayed with the skunk. I don't use profanity. So I'm saying none of us, I'm more righteous than you are. No more cuss words. Nobody can in the public can use kiss my ass and mother this and blah, 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 blah. When do it stop? When do it end? All of us are messed up in some kind of way. But all of us deserve to be part and have an opportunity to join in this thing that can liberate us and possibly save our lives. And we deserve it because all of us are descendants of slaves, and we come from a place of 500 years of oppression, all of us who are descendants deserve a little bit of heaven. We deserve this sanctuary. We're not going to allow troublemakers. I'm not talking about just people running here and they just be drunkards and homosexual. We having parties and you know, gay parades. No, we're not tolerating that. That's not what this is about. This is about creating a righteous society. But at this point in time, all of us stink. All of us been in the toilet. We all stink. You know, if I'm in the toilet and you in the toilet, you know, you might have a little bit more doo-doo on you than I do, but does that make we both stink? We both come out the toilet. We both trying to clean up. We both trying to get right. So one thing we can do in this beginning here is begin this process, because I believe if you sell this to the people as a process of cleaning up, we're not expecting nobody to be perfect. We're not expecting nobody to be righteous, because that's not what we are. We're just coming out of the mud. And we might not, you know, like I said, we probably won't live to see the ultimate result, but we can begin the process where we can get exactly what we want, which is a righteous people. And these things won't even exist no more. You know, you won't see this, because we will put the people in a position where we will eliminate the way our lifestyles and how we carry ourselves. We will eliminate incest and pedophilia and drunkenness and all these different things that ail us. They'll begin to leave, because that's not what we propagating. Our society is not creating the elements that create these things. But in the end result, like I said, we ourselves might not see the end result. We can just begin the process. We're dirty ourselves. We still here with the skunk. We carry things. Here we are, we're messed up talking about a new reality, and we got all this dust and dirt on us. And we're going to judge the other people that got dirt and dust. My dirt is different than your dirt. It's all dirt. It's all stench. It all stinks. So we need to try, you know, when we talk about freedom, justice, and equality, I don't see the justice in a thinking that will ostracize our people when all of us are dirty in some kind of shape, fashion, or form. Our first priority simply, it should be a sanctuary where we can begin this liberation process. That's where it should be at. And the future generations can handle it. You guide the children in the right direction, they'll be what we want right now, but we can't get right now, because it's not really gonna happen. We got too many problems. And you will get more of a result when people see that's what you want and it's something good. They can embrace that. They can embrace that and feel part of something that's great. Also, what we're trying to do here too is put ourselves in a position where at least we can unify to the point where if something break out, we have each other's back enough where we can save our people's lives, where we can have a future. Because at this rate, if we keep going at the rate we're going, we are totally defenseless. If something break out, we're so divided and messed up. We're totally defenseless. We'll be the first one that be on the prey list. And there's nothing we can do. Our little guns and stuff that we have to house and whatever, it's not going to do you no good when you are living in an environment where there's no law, mayhem and chaos, dwindling food supplies. You know, we got to put ourselves in a position where we can get certain things. We have to isolate ourselves so that we can be that sanctuary. Because right now, if something broke out, where would we go? If something broke out right now, there's nowhere we can go. We're not united, and we'll be picked off because we're individuals in these little tiny little groups. We'll be picked off very easily by these large groups that's running around here. And that's what we need to avoid. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Brother Maurice should be, I'm pretty sure he will concur. Like when you at war and you got bullets flying, you ain't tripping off about the dude next door as long as he on your side. You're not tripping off that stuff. You know, I wonder if the guy next to me is he's a homosexual. You don't care nothing about that. You just know, you just hope that he's on your side and that y'all can get out of this and go home alive. That's what you're interested in. And that's what we are. We are in a warlike situation, and you should be worried more about, am I going to survive? Am my children going to survive? Or are we all going to end up going down this damn hole? So that's what it's about.
Well, let me, and I'm gonna. Oh, let me say this real quick, and I'm handing the mic over to Maurice.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I know you noticed that you brought up the Bible and stuff like that, and you brought up word righteousness. I never seen anywhere in the Bible that alcoholism was a sin. That's number one. But I've heard many verses of homosexuality and bestiality was abomination.
Yeah.
And anybody that sleep with the animal, that man and that beast should be put to death. Any man and man, any male and male sleep together like he was sleeping with a woman should be put to death. That's all I've seen. And even lesbian was a sin, but not alcoholism. But I just want to throw that in real quick.
Bro, let me add this in.
Okay. Because I want to give the mic to Maurice.
Yeah, definitely. Let me add this in. Okay, definitely not.
So you just say you just want to crack.
The Bible also says, "Thou shalt not kill."
Yeah. Right.
Alcoholism is killing people on a daily basis. Drunken driving. If we look at, so what I would like to say, the Bible doesn't specifically. It may not specifically. I'm not well versed in the Bible. But one thing I know the Bible does say is "Thou shalt not kill."
Right.
And we cannot deny the fact that alcohol abuse does lead to premature death.
But Craig, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
If you're gonna speak, like I said, people overdo it. Yes, I agree. I have a drink now and then socially, and I don't go out there. I'm not violent. I'm have fun with my friends or whatever. With me and my moms, we might have a little strong wine here and there. We laughing and talking, but we don't abuse it. Some people abuse it. Some people do things just like obesity. Some people don't know when to stop eating. You know, so what do you say about that? Are you going to ban all food? No. I think education need to be put in place. A lot of these things that should be in place, like people's rights when they get stopped by the police. What do you say? These things are not being put in schools. They're not teaching your kids this. So what I'm saying is that there's certain things that need to be taught, because some people might want to drink it here and there. I mean, it depends it depends how you use these things. I'm not saying alcohol should be banned, because like I said, that's not, if you're going to quote the Bible, show me where alcohol is a sin. Now, if you're talking about certain religious groups, like maybe the Nation of Islam, they don't believe in drinking. Okay, that's fine. That's on them. But some people, in Africa, black people have fun. They drink and nothing happens. So what I'm saying is this. Some things need to be educated, because some people do abuse certain things. That's all I'm saying. But I'm gonna give the mic to Maurice. Maurice, what is your thoughts so far? What you have heard?
Well, I want to start with this process when we were talking about, the homosexuals, and I do research, right? So these cities that are being contemplated, I've done the research. Now you can go to things like City Data, and it breaks down and tells you everything. Tells you whether you got homosexuals, tells you whether you got single, tells you how many married people you got, how many grandchildren, how many spouses. It breaks down and it gives you very detailed reports. Now, in this one city that we're looking at, in Yazoo, according to the census, there is no homosexuals in this city. If they are in there, they didn't report that they were homosexuals, but it doesn't show that they are. It goes and it talks about elections. It tells you how many people came out to vote, tells you who they voted for and who the other side voted for. It tells you whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or whatever. So when we think about how to move in and do it with power, and that's why I said it's strategic planning. It's strategic planning. That means you got to have this information, because this information is a part of your strategic planning. Now, if you don't done the research. So I know what's there. I know what we will have to deal with. That's why I say, we move in. If you got 5,000 people in the city and only 500 come out to vote, the next voting cycle, normally it's less than that that's going to come out. Positions in no matter of time. You just got to have the people already there registered to go in and take things over. Now, you're thinking about the laws. There are some counties in America that are dry counties where you are not allowed, that they don't sell alcohol at all in the county.
Right.
Myself, I don't drink, but it is not forbidden to drink. It's not my place to delegate to tell somebody whether they can drink or not. Because remember, the theme is, and I said, who think like us. So you may drink, like Brother Guy said, he drinks, but he's responsible drinking. He ain't out there like Wino Eddie. He ain't out there like that. Exactly. See, Wino Eddie does not understand who he is. So he'll drink himself nasty drunk and cussing and breaking the fool and acting the fool. That's why Wino Eddie is outside. He ain't in our house. He ain't in the new reality because he has not hit rock bottom. He has not decided to say, I got to clean up. See, people that think like we do are responsible. We love ourselves, so we're responsible of how we deal with ourselves. People like us, we are separated from the rest of our brothers and sisters because we have a knowledge that they don't. That's why I said we will continue to teach and we will leave a door open that they can come through and get orientated when they say, I'm tired of being a nigga. I've had enough. I want some heaven. Then they're ready to come home. Then they go through orientation to see if they're really ready. And if they pass, then they come on in. If not, they go on back out there until they're really ready. That's justice. That's justice. We're not going to have in our city, if you can drive, you can drive. To me, it doesn't make sense. Pull people over and they ain't got a license. So you're going to give them, you're going to put them in a further behind situation. So that's not going to, long as you know how to drive, I don't care if you have a license or not. You shouldn't need it, long as you know how to drive. You pass the test to say, yes, you know how to drive, then you go ahead and drive. We don't need to set up laws that are frivolous. That are frivolous laws for what? So that the city or this agency or that agency can make money ripping people off? No, that ain't right. That ain't just. Mm-hmm. So those type things we're going to get rid of. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was married, I wouldn't beat my wife. None of us that think that way are wife beaters. None of our sisters that think the way we think are husband beaters. We don't go and rape children. That's not how we think. So we got to understand that because that's not how we think, that's not going to be in our society. Because nobody that thinks that way would be there. It's just that simple. So what is the reality of the things that we would have to deal with? You may have a disagreement here or there, and you may need to go through mediation. If the parties can't work it out themselves, you may need to go through mediation. Mm-hmm. We have to look beyond what we've been conditioned to. The enemy has conditioned us in a way that we can't think for ourselves. So in the new reality, we have to be able to be thinkers. You have to be able to think. You already know this is my brother, this is my sister. So I'm not here to rip you off like they do in the general society of America. That's not my thinking process. So those things we would not have to deal with. We just wouldn't. In the Nation of Islam, and we have our own laws, you get put out for fornication, you'll get a year out. You know, you come and tell, yeah, I committed fornication. So they give you a year out of the society. You don't have people stealing. You don't have, even if you lie in the Nation of Islam and you get caught, that's 90 days that they will walk you out of the society for lying. Okay? Now, some say, well, you can't legislate morality. I think you really can because it's being done. But it's not somebody else regulating it upon you. It is you regulating it upon yourself because you love yourself. So you regulate yourself and you have peace. And you have peace. So I don't foresee drinking as an issue. I think Brother Guy made a good example. You don't go out there and be like Drunken Eddie. They're responsible with it. Yes, and that's how we're supposed to be. Because we are grown. We're responsible with our affairs.
Yes, sir.
And so we should be fine. I believe we should be fine. I rest my mind.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I guess I still have a question.
We all know.
To be addressed.
We all know how it goes when we talk about drugs and alcohol. When you're dealing with your best bet is not to start at all because you're always gonna have somebody, as long as that is available. You're gonna have people who's going to abuse. To get started. That's how it goes. You start drinking a little bit. Brother Guy might be responsible, but I guarantee you, another person, once they get to drinking, they say, "Oh, that feels good." They want to go want more and more and more and more. Or smoking a cigarette. They're not going to stop with smoking one cigarette. They're going to be wanting more and more and more. That's why a lot of people are addicts in the way that they are, because once they get started and they get that feeling it's good and they just like that habit, it become habitual. They want more and more and more. That's how that goes. So we're not just talking about Brother Guy. We're talking about different individuals where alcohol is going to play differently in their lives. There's a lot of people, their intent wasn't to be an alcoholic. That wasn't their intent. Oh, I'm just a social drinker. But next thing you know, they're a full-blown alcoholic or a full-blown thief or a full-blown crackhead or whatever it is just because they started it. They got it started that way.
And see, brother, I think that's the difference, because I keep saying people that think like us. I keep going back there because that's the admittance into. You have to be thinking a certain way in order to get into the new reality. Now, for the reality that my group is building, that's our admittance. It's not open for everybody. But in your reality that's open to everybody, then that may be a problem with you all. But on our end, it's not, because you're only letting in those who think a certain way. So by those who think a certain way, those type of issues doesn't exist. Those issues they're not there. And so that's why I said, because we're going to continue to teach our people that's not in the new reality. And when they decide to say, okay, I've had enough and I'm ready to come in, then they will go through orientation. And then we will make sure that when they're in orientation, they pass that process to be led into the new reality.
Right.
So, you know, when you're dealing with the whole pot of whatever that's out there that you're letting in, yeah, y'all will have to have those type of things because y'all have those type of people. We don't need those type of things because we don't have those type of people. See, our beginning point are citizens or will be citizens of the new reality because they think like we do. So you already have a highly proactive, productive individual that knows the value of self and the value of others and what they're building in this new reality that will be the new heaven for our people that qualify to get in.
Yes.
So a lot of those things we just would not have.
But let me say this to add on. First of all, a lot of people who do a lot of heavy drinking, especially when it comes down to Black people, is because of oppression.
Mhm.
I remember my granddad on my father's side, because what he went through because of racism and Jim Crow, it got him to drink heavily, and that's because of years of what he went through. You know, I mean, a lot of the times people go through stuff and they use alcohol to heal their pain. But just say if they didn't experience these things, he probably wouldn't be drinking that much. He probably, you probably have a little sip or two, just like I am. But a lot of times people are down and out. People drink because they can't get a job or whatever the case is. So a lot of the times when they don't have nobody to pick them up, this is what they result to. They rather commit suicide. So we have to avoid certain things to lead to heavy drinking and stuff like that. So that's one point I'm trying to make is that we have to educate people and prevent certain things from happening so they won't lead to heavy drinking or stuff like that. That's all.
Yes, indeed. I still had a question that I would like the panel to speak on briefly, and it was going back to what I was saying about what is happening in certain African countries, and I could use Uganda for an example. I would like to know the panel's position of homosexuality in certain African countries being a capital offense, to where there are people over there on the continent who some of them were even innocent, but just because they were accused of being homosexual, they were held and killed, and charged with a capital offense. While we have murderers like the murderers of Trayvon Martin, the murderer of Mike Brown, the murderer of Philando Castile, we have all of these descendants of slave masters walking around here freely. The question is this is why I brought this question up earlier when I was talking about which one is a top priority, homosexuality or white supremacy. Because we can talk about the biological aspect of white supremacy, but we cannot forget the physical aspect of what white supremacy represents. Because white supremacy is just not tampering with your food or tampering with your water. The white supremacy, manifests itself in so many different ways. White supremacy is not just going to come tamper with your water and your food. White supremacy will put a bullet into the back of your head. and be acquitted,
Mm.
held by a jury of white supremacist own peers. I just want to throw that out there because it's kind of disturbing when I think, because my main enemy is white supremacy.
Yes, sir.
I'll just leave it there.
I want to go ahead and just put a little bit more, add a little bit more onto what Brother Maurice was saying, that it's certain things in their reality that we have to deal with in our reality that they won't have to deal with. Using the Nation of Islam as an example, I don't know if you're familiar or not, but you do know there was cases of homosexual behavior among FOI, right, Brother Maurice?
No, sir, I don't know anything about that.
There was a case. It was in the early, or was it the early 90s? It was some brothers in the Chicago mosque. One of the brothers committed suicide. They was involved in a homosexual activity.
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, right. There are brothers and sisters that's in the Nation of Islam who were found to be still drinkers. They was alcoholics. There are cases where, of course, even Minister Farrakhan's daughter, you know, she was severely beaten by her husband, domestic abuse. Those cases still occurred in the Nation of Islam. So a lot of these different things that you're saying that like it won't happen among you, you know, it can happen because this is just human behavior. They're not, you know, people are not gonna go around and parade it around. People, we're coming from a dirty place. And some people, you know, we can dust it off. Some people, we still carry those different things. Because Minister Farrakhan's daughter shouldn't have to went through that. She thought she had an FOI and probably would never have to deal with domestic abuse. It was something that went on, and she just kept it like secret or whatever until it finally came out. And like I said, those brothers, I don't know, you know, it was right up in the Chicago temple. Brother committed suicide. Brothers was having homosexual liaisons right there in Mosque Marion, right there. You know, so you cannot say because when you're dealing with a bunch of people and you don't know how strong they are, we are all damaged. See, this is the thing about it. We're all damaged. And if I can't do it outright, people do it undercover. Say, damn, I want to be part of this. You know, so they do their drinking in secret. You know, they beat their wife in secret. Don't you tell them, you know, blah, blah, blah. Sister, why you got that black eye? Oh, I fell. You know, things of this nature. We all come from this dirty, dirty place. And we cannot, you know, so if you think that you're not going to experience that, or the people you're dealing with, especially as you grow, you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people, somebody's going to start displaying this, even if it's undercover. They're going to have to go underground with it. You know what I'm saying? For years and years, remember, homosexuality was undercover. You was a covert. You didn't go out and say, I'm a homosexual. You didn't do that. You know, a lot of those celebrities like Rock Hudson and Liberace, all those people, they had to keep their homosexuality undercover because it was not acceptable by society. And that's the only thing that would happen because people want to be part of this. So, and things of this nature. So I'll just go undercover. That's what you would do. You'll be forcing people to covert behavior when if they were able to express themselves, maybe you could help somebody, because many of these people, they was drinkers, they was smokers, they homosexuals, you know, they love their spouses, even though their spouse is a white woman or Mexican or whatever, you know, that's their life, you know, but they want to be part of something glorious. They want to be part of something glorious. You know, why would you want to deny somebody when all of us stink? That's my thing. And you can't stop. You're not going to be able to stop people in your city or whatever. You're gonna have cases. Brothers gonna be beating their wives. Children ain't gonna want to go to school. You're gonna have truancy. You're gonna have people that's still gonna be pedophiles. You're gonna have incest. Those things are still gonna happen because we're dirty. We're dirty. I don't care what you said in the mind. What we are, what we say out of our mouths right now might not be true tomorrow. We come from dirty, dirty places. And you force people to go undercover, that just makes things even worse, because at least if they feel as though they could come out, maybe they could express themselves and get help. You know, I'm an alcoholic, I'm doing it undercover, you know, but maybe if I'm out here, maybe I can get some help or whatever the situation is. You know, those brothers in the nation that was practicing this homosexuality in the mosque, they wouldn't parading around. Nobody could tell them different from the other FOI until that brother committed suicide. That's when they found out what the whole deal was. Who knows how long that was going on, and who knows how many homosexuals are in the Nation of Islam right now undercover? Who knows?
You know,
so what I'm saying is, in this beginning process, just like Brother Craig was saying, your concentration is really, because we all dirty in some kind of way. Our concentration should be the liberation and the securement of a sanctuary where we can all at least begin to feel safe, instead of going to a place where now I'm under oppression. Oh, you know, you can't drink. You can't be on a homosexual. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't. What's the sense of, what kind of sanctuary is this? What kind of Of course, just like Brother Maurice said, when, you know, some of these old laws, we are in a position, some of these old trivial ass laws, we can get rid of those different things. But when you're dealing with human beings and we're sick, man, we're sick. We're coming from a bad place. We're putting too much pressure on people they're coming from a sick place. That's all I'm saying. Our people is coming from I come from a sick place. There's things wrong with me. I understand that. We all come in some kind of manner. I might not be as sick as you are. You may not be as sick as me, but we're all dirty. We are dirty. You know, and when I use scripture, when I use scripture, I'm talking about the lesson learning scripture. I'm not talking about any type of religion or anything like that. I take what's good in scripture and use it. Like it says in the scriptures, your righteousness is as rags in the sight of God. Who am I to judge a person? I'm not in a position to be a judge. Only thing I know is that you are a descendant of a slave, just like I am. You have it's a possibility that one of these, you could be in somewhere and one of these crackers slice your throat just because you're black. We are in the same situation. I want to create, first priority is a safe haven, a sanctuary, and all these other things can be dealt with later on. It should not be a top priority now. Right now, top priority should be simply saving a life. That should be the top priority. Not making more rules and regulations and things. But we don't need all that kind of good stuff. We just need to be getting ourselves in a position where we can benefit. We can benefit from the very laws and the things that we were given to work with. We take advantage of those things so that we can gain some power, so we can get some of this damn heat off of us, so we can be in a position. And then other things, you can make a suggestion to people. And just like you said, continue to teach, because now the people are isolated and you can continue to teach. And then once you go into some power, those who want to be rebellious, those who just can't really get to the program, you gotta let them go, because they're interfering with us cleaning ourselves up. But in the beginning process, I can't see why, you know, I'm dirty, and you know, but the other person is dirty too. But I you know, we picking and choosing, you know, about drinking and drugging. I'm a homosexual. Who cares? Just get liberated first. That should be number one priority, to create a sanctuary, not just a city. We need to take over that whole damn state, because we got 40 to 70 million people we got to serve. And not only that state, so we can be able to take over other states, the next door. We got to be able to move now and make this so that people, so like I said, we are dirty. We're dirty. We're asking too much for our people and they sick. You know, it's just like if a person is at a job and got a cold, you expect that person to operate just like a person who is healthy. That person has a cold. He told you, I didn't want to come to work today because I'm sick. Well, you know, this is your job. I told you I'm sick. Our people are sick. You cannot expect them to operate on a level this level that you think that they should operate, because you can. I am sick. I cannot do that. Maybe you're well, I am sick. All of us on different levels. And you will be able to you will be able to gain more support. It's more palatable, and you get more help. You get more help in the effort in order to get this, so you can secure this place as soon as possible. Because right now, you don't have the time that is needed in order for this really to work. You really need need to be a national effort, so you can go in here and take over these 10 cities and the governor's house as soon as possible. You know, little by little, you know, that's nice, but it's too slow, and we don't know how much time we got. See, that's the thing about it. We don't have the time to do the things that we're talking about here. You just don't have the time to go through it. You got enemies that's planning our deaths, and you never know what, you know, as soon as we hang up this Google Hangout, anything could happen in international affairs that could kick off some stuff, and we are not prepared at all. So we need to get ourselves in a position, you know, to be prepared right now and secure a place. Otherwise, we're done. So it won't make no difference. You know, you're done. When your body is going down the hill of a grave, it makes no difference. You know, it don't make no difference you're homosexual or you are married to a white woman or you drink. It don't make no difference as your body rolls down to the bottom of a mass grave, because that's what's going to happen. And, you know, and you want everybody to be the same like you. We all be the same. Down at the bottom of this damn mass grave, unmarked grave. And that's what I'm trying to do. We don't have the time. See, time is the essence here. Time is the essence. You know, that's my thing here. I want the same thing like you brothers do. You think I don't? But I understand. We just don't have the time to be. We just don't have it. We don't you know we wasted 50 years. We have not done nothing of substance since the civil rights movement. 50 years gone by. We don't have the time. We don't have the time to be wasting. We might have run out of time right now as we speak. But maybe there's some mercy where we can get this together. Because, you know, the more we put this out here, don't you know, people actually are being attracted to us. They are. Little by little, they're coming. Because just like Brother Maurice said it, we're the only game in town. This is the way to go. They don't have no choice. But if those who are in the beginning, if we keep going back and forth with this little stuff, whatever, and we get hung up on these different things, I'm telling you, we don't have the time. Time is running out. And you know, time waits for no one. If we let the time run out, then we're just gonna get what's coming to us. And believe me, it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be alive. I don't want to see it. And these crackers are already talking about it. Sister Cynthia G just had a white boy talk about, you know, the mass grave. He said that the white people are sick of biracial children. They're getting sick of white folks going down the street with biracial children and these black men not paying child support. They're getting sick of it. And he's talking about that is already being introduced in the House, in the laws of this country, talking about the extermination of black folks. Black men first. So we don't have the time. We got to act and do and get this going and get it together now, because you just don't have the time for lollygagging on things. I mean, it's important, but we don't have the time. Now, if you think you got the time and you want to gamble, okay. But if you gamble and lose, I don't want to be around. You know, I'm 55 years old. I was talking to Brother Maurice the other day. I have more days behind me than ahead of me. So, you know, if I live another 15 years, I'm doing good.
All right.
See what I'm saying? Now, if you want to gamble like that, okay, you know,
all right,
do so. But I'm telling you, you don't have the time. You just don't have the time to do what you're talking about. You don't have the time. This has to be. We have to get on the ball, get the people excited, get them inspired, and let's get the rolling and take these cities and take this state.
All right.
If you don't, I'm telling you, all right.
So we're gonna try to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I would like to respond.
Yeah. I was gonna let you respond real quick. Then we'll have a closing argument. I know, Craig. I know your question, but we're gonna have to maybe on maybe next
Oh, tomorrow we're supposed to be holding.
Yeah, we meet
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So we won't be able to answer the question that you asked earlier. So we're going to try to wrap this up real quick. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, girl. Go ahead, Maurice.
All right, brother. I just wanted to go over a few things that Brother Talik has said. The homosexuality, and it's on YouTube. The title of the lecture, I believe, is the minister did is homosexuality and suicide, and he talks about it. That was not grown men. That was teenagers in college. The brother who killed himself. And his college friends, the minister breaks it all down in that lecture. And he was telling them that you young ones think that you're going to be greater than the quote unquote old ones. But how are you going to be greater and you doing things you ain't got no business? You know, he started going over the law that we have in Islam. And he was like, you hear your brother talking about he wanted to kill himself, and you don't open your mouth and you don't tell somebody, you don't tell his mama, you don't tell his daddy, you don't tell his uncle, you don't tell somebody that could have saved him. I mean, the minister really goes off on that, but I would advise everybody to look at it. But it was not in the mosque. They were out in college. The second thing, the daughter that got beat up, that wasn't Minister Farrakhan's biological daughter. That was his daughter-in-law. And that was with his son, Louis, who had just passed when he was an alcoholic. Now, you have to remember that the theme that I keep saying is people who think like us.
Right.
Louis wasn't thinking like us. He was an alcoholic. He was not even in the mosque because he was an alcoholic and doing things he ain't had no business. The young man that was in college that was getting into homosexual behavior, those who knew it failed to do what they should have did, which was report what he was doing. And if they would have, then maybe the brother would have still been alive. But they failed to do their duty towards their brother. So, you know, I think we just have to make sure we keep everything in proper context. And when we talk about that, you know, or when you say that it has to be, you know, a national effort and all that, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And I know when we got into that part, you wasn't here. You was on the phone. But it really doesn't. That's why I said that this thing is strategically planned step by step. And if it's not strategically planned step by step, it's not going to happen. The reality is this, that we'll get this city within our lifetime. We're not going to take the state within our lifetime unless the war that is supposed to happen, if it happens during this period of time, then yes, we can capture the whole state within that time. But if it doesn't, we'll capture cities. But it's going to be a while to capture the whole state, just because you're dealing with a whole lot of different factors in each city. So that way, you know, it is, and time is important. I don't want people to think that I'm not saying time is important, because time is. And that's why for, you know, the things that the city that we're trying to build is being done strategically in waves like it should be, because this is, as we said before, a military operation. And so because it is a military operation, people got to be in right spots. And like I said before, when we take the mayor's office, the first thing we're doing is firing everybody in the police department, from the chief on down, even the people who answer the goddamn 911. Everybody is getting fired. So that means we got to have replacements right then and there. That's why I say we have to build this army now, because a segment of them going straight into the police system, the segment of them going straight into there. Then the other segment is going into the militia. Now, I have been sitting back and doing a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. And that's why we were supposed to have this meeting coming up tomorrow, but we had to push it back because there's processes that have to be taken in consideration, because a lot of our sisters that think like us are single. Mm-hmm. So they're single parents, and there's some of them coming on the first wave. So since they're coming on the first wave, things have to be in spot when they get there, not working on, but there. So there's positions that have to be filled. There's research that has to be done so that when these sisters and the brothers, when the first wave come, everything is set up for them to step in and get moving. So that's why these cities were specifically chosen to be looked at to decide out of that 10, which one is going to be the first one. All of it was done for a specific reasoning. That's why I said to you when we talked on the phone also, the questions that were asked. The reason why I kept pushing that we answered these questions is because when we get started, the media is going to come. And we cannot say, even though we may want to, I'm not answering that question and ignore it. No, we got to answer it. And we have to defeat them on their press. So those questions were very valuable because we got to be able to answer, and we got to know who we're going to send out to answer it. And I'll give you this example. Now, myself and me and God, I said this before, but me and God, similar spirit, okay? It will not be beneficial if there's supposed to be a meeting of, where they're working out different plans with the enemy. And the goal is to prevent a war. Then you ain't gonna send me to that meeting because I'm a warrior. You ain't gonna send God to that meeting because he's a warrior. You gotta send a diplomat to that meeting because the diplomat will go and do their job. And if it ain't done right, or if it can't be achieved, then they'll say, well, you better go send Guy or send Maurice, because I've done all that I can do. It's time for them to do what they got to do. So you got to have different people to do these different functions. And it's critical for us to know where we are and where we are not. Because when we don't make the right decisions, then that means somebody going to suffer. And we don't have the time for that. We don't have the time for that, because then the word will go forth that these niggas don't know what the fuck they doing. They done got us down here and we scrambling and struggling and doing it. We got to eliminate that. So when they get there and get started, they can say, well, damn, this shit, y'all really was about it is work. You did it. And then we keep improving on what we did. Yes, it does take time to strategically plan, but it is worth it in the end, because your objectives will be reached, and it won't be reached at the cost of losing unnecessary lives. That's why the planning is so meticulous and time taking. Trust me, you can ask Sister Carl or Sister Dawn when I'm giving instructions. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need that. Need it done by this time period. And even with me, because I'll forget, and I had to tell Sister Dawn, make sure I write this letter. Do not let me go to sleep and I have not written this letter. I make them get on me because I got to get it done. And I don't have time to say, well, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. I don't have time. I got to get it done. So when I get ideas, I tell them, this is what I need. That's part of the process. That's part of the process. Y'all have to trust that, one, that I'm not stupid, that I know what I know. I don't operate outside what I know, but I know what I know, and I'm going to do it, and it's going to be successful. I need you all to do what you do and it's going to be successful. We don't have to compromise with nothing because what we're saying is right and the time that we're saying it is right. And I'll close with this. It was last Wednesday. We were on the air on the Initiative Radio Network, and the sister, she asked Dr. Jones, she said, Dr. Jones, I'm scared. She says, I used to think that y'all was crazy. I don't think that anymore. I understand where you're coming from. And I want to get a gun to protect me and my children. But I'm also scared that if I get a gun, then the police gonna kill me because I got a gun. And she's asking Dr. Jones, what should I do? So it tells us that our people who was thinking that we crazy by all of these killings and stuff that's happening, they're seeing these niggas was real. Now I got to do something. So we're on time. We're on time. Don't sell out for something less than what you are by right can have. And I'm going to leave that. Now, thank you for letting me make that comment, even though I went over a little bit too far. But I just want to make sure that we drive that home. We have a place and we have a purpose, and we should be on that purpose because our mission, we will accomplish it. We will be successful in our lifetime. That I promise you.
Wow. All right. So we're gonna have our closing statements before we out of here. So Craig, you want to say anything? Starting from Craig.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, I would just like to say briefly that this was a great discussion, and I'm hoping that a lot of the questions that people will pose to me and have been answered. So therefore today, I wanted to place myself in a diplomatic position, an unbiased position, just to present different questions that were posed to me. And just looking at the mentality, the mental condition or mental mind state that Black people are in today. I'm just hoping that some type of clarity has been brought. But tomorrow, anybody that's watching this tomorrow, we're going to be doing another show, actually a complete program, to where we'll be able to get a whole lot more in depth when it comes to the questions that people have concerning the direction of this Mississippi campaign. So I would just like to say I appreciate being able to sit on the panel and place my 2 cents into the conversation. And I appreciate you brothers for having me, and I'm gonna hand the mic over. So just make sure everybody tunes in. We're having the show tomorrow. I think it's 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Am I correct, or is that 1:30 Central?
4:30.
Okay, 4:30. Okay,
Eastern Time.
Okay.
3:30 Central Time.
Okay, yes, indeed. So 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Definitely tune in, and I'm going to be sharing this program. So hopefully, if anybody wants to pose any questions to anybody on the panel, or if you want to join the movement, you want to join the resistance against white supremacy, you're more than welcome to tune in and bring forth any area of expertise that you might have to offer to this campaign. But definitely peace. I'm gonna hand the microphone over to Brother Talik,
Okay, yeah. Peace forever and always to the brothers on the panel. And I am looking forward to speaking with my brother Maurice tomorrow, 3:30. And I already texted him earlier today, and we're not going to leave divided. No matter how this goes, we're not going to leave divided. We're going to work this out where this is going to move forward, and we're not going to move divided. Brother Maurice is my brother. I love Brother Maurice. He's cool. He is. Brother Maurice is cool. You know. And I'm not going to leave. We're not going to leave divided. We're not going to do that. I don't care. We're going to work something out, come to some type of something, so we can do this. Because I'm telling you, from the emails that I get and from what I'm seeing, you know, people are starting to respond. You know, when you put Mississippi campaign in the title of the video, people know people are starting to recognize what you're talking about. You know, a few months ago, nobody know what the hell you're talking about. What's a Mississippi campaign? And also, they you know, people are really upset, you know, about the division. You know, what's going on? Damn, y'all just got started. What's happening? You know, they don't like that because we're the only game in town. We're the only ones. You know, brother, guy just did a video with Aqua, you know, on the radio with Sarnetta. Explain your program. Aquan couldn't. I mean, he couldn't explain. You said that, you know, you got this solution. Explain it to you got 550 some people watching this program. Here's your opportunity, sir. Yeah. He gave you the floor. He said, go. Mm-hmm. Well, you need to stop smoking weed. What the hell are you talking about? See, we're not like that. We understand. We don't know fully what we have to do, but we have a basic understanding where we need to go, what we need to do. We have all the elements that we need. We got the purpose, we got the goal, we got the execution, and we got the vision. That will lead into a time we won't even exist no more. But we have an idea of where all this should result. You know, so we can explain it. We can explain that to the people. We got it going on here. Nobody else can do that. You can't go on none of these platforms and you ask them, what's your purpose? What's your goal? How are you going to execute? What's your vision for the future? They can't do that. We're the only one, y'all. And we should not let nothing divide us. We are our people's last chance. Their only hope. This is it. This is it. You know? But we'll be talking more about that tomorrow and get into it. We're not going to leave divided. And so all y'all haters out there, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. We're not going to leave the floor divided. So y'all, you know, all those candles and fireworks they all want to throw off is, you know, don't say that for the 4th of July. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to do it.
That's what's up.
And with that said, we pass the mic.
Maurice.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir. You know, it's always good to be in a house of love.
Yes, sir.
You know, we love and we respect each other, and that's paramount. And I like what my brother said. We will not be divided because that is what the enemy wants to do: divide and conquer. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And I want to just say, I wrote a book, and I'm going to read something that I wrote at the end of it. It says that being Black is not a matter of pigmentation, but a reflection of a mental attitude. What is a mental attitude? A complex mental state involving beliefs and feelings and values and dispositions to act in certain ways. Now we must define what is our mental attitude that will reflect our true nature and our true self. Being Black, to me, is being God. It's living beyond the scope of our oppressor and into the life that we were created to be in the beginning. It's finding and restoring our righteous mind. We are the first people in God's creation. We are his children. Just as Black is not a color, It is the essence from which all color comes. We are the original people. We are gods, but we live and die like mortals. Let us accept our responsibility, accept who we are, and be the true gods and rule instead of dying like niggas. Thank you, family. Love y'all.
Wow. I just wanted to say my last thoughts, man. I just so happy that, because it was funny because me and Craig, we was going to do this by ourselves. So he was just like, no, we got to put these guys. And because when I heard about the beef, I didn't think nothing. I didn't really, I've heard the beef, but it wasn't like, I wasn't really into it. I just thought that was just, okay, they just.
Why is it called a beef?
well, I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, I'm not saying y'all was, but I've just heard that. I heard there was a little feud between your disagreements, but I didn't really think nothing of it. But then I didn't know how serious it was. So I'm just glad that I got y'all guys on this panel to y'all. So because I want to really listen to both of y'all to hear y'all out. You know what I mean? Because you know, if there's any misunderstanding or whatever like that, that's what we're here for. So I'm just glad that everything worked out perfectly. I mean, I know, look, we all gonna have little disagreements and stuff like that, but we do have that common goal.
Right.
Is liberation.
Right.
So like Malcolm and Martin, they had their disagreements, but they all had that common goal. And when they came together, what you saw them shaking hands. The white man was mad. They thought they was gonna fight. But they shook hands because they didn't get down like that. And just like if you look at Magneto and Professor Xavier, because that's where they got the story from. They good friends, even though they fighting the same cause, which is the humans. Right. But they all had the interest of the mutants, and we are the mutants, right? So, of course, Stan Lee got the idea, stole the idea from the civil rights movement, but still. But we all have a common goal, and there's some kinks that need to be straightened out, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think this was a very informative and I learned a lot. Listen to y'all brothers.
Well, it makes some people angry, brother guy, because as soon as me and Maurice get together, they say, "Oh, here it come, y'all! Come! They together, man. They against each other. Something finna break out, y'all." You know,
well, you're always gonna have your haters, man. But
yeah,
I'm just glad that y'all worked it out, and I'm looking forward for the discussion tomorrow y'all gonna have. And I just want to say thanks again, and then we let's make this liberation work, man. Because I'm all for my peoples, and that's it. Everybody else for their people, I'm for mine. So yes. I'm willing to fight all the way on this. All right. So, brothers, get some sleep.
Yes, sir.
And I'll see y'all guys tomorrow.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, family.
Later.